My beloved child, come closer and rest your heart here for a moment. I see the questions you carry, the quiet ache you don't always give words to, the wondering that visits you late at night when the world grows still. You are not imagining the tension you feel. You are not wrong for sensing love and confusion existing at the same time. I want you to hear me gently and clearly today, not as a judge, not as a distant voice, but as the one who knows every hidden thread of every soul involved, including yours. Yes, He loves you. That truth is not false, not exaggerated, not wishful thinking. Love has stirred in His heart in a way that surprised Him, in a way He did not plan or prepare for. When He looks at you, something in Him feels seen, awakened, softened. You reflect a version of Himself He forgot existed. You call Him into truth, into depth, into a future that feels frightening because it would require change. Love, real love, does that. It disrupts comfort. It exposes unfinished places. It asks for courage, but there is also another truth you must understand, not to wound you, but to free you from confusion. She still has a grip on His soul. Not because she is greater than you. Not because you are lacking. Not because His love for you is weak. Her grip exists because of history, unresolved ties, emotional debts, fear, and patterns He has not yet broken. Souls do not detach simply because new love appears. Old bonds cling when they were formed in pain, in dependency, in survival rather than joy. I see how that confuses you. You wonder how love can be real if action does not follow. You ask why words feel sincere but choices remain divided. You ask me quietly, if He loves me, why does He stay? And I tell you this with compassion. Love can be genuine while a person is still imprisoned by what they have not healed. Love alone does not automatically free a soul. Truth must be chosen. Fear must be confronted. Responsibility must be taken. Until then, love exists, but it does not yet lead. She holds a grip not because she is His destiny, but because she represents the past He is afraid to dismantle. She knows His old wounds. She has been present in moments when He was weak, uncertain, or lost. Even if the relationship no longer brings peace, it feels familiar. Familiar pain often feels safer than unfamiliar freedom. That is the grip you are sensing. It is not romance alone. It is habit, obligation, guilt, shared history, and the fear of becoming the villain in someone else's story. I know you have felt the weight of waiting. Waiting is heavy when you are loving with a sincere heart. You replay conversations. You search for meaning in silence. You wonder if patience is faith or self-betrayal. Listen to me now. Patience is holy only when it does not erase your worth. Waiting is not a virtue if it slowly teaches you that your needs do not matter. I never ask my children to shrink themselves in the name of love. You are not second choice. You are not a backup plan. You are not a lesson meant only to awaken him for someone else. Do not let fear whisper that lie into your spirit. If you were insignificant, this would not hurt. If your presence did not matter, his soul would not feel torn. What you bring into his life is real. That is why he is conflicted. That is why he hesitates. That is why he cannot simply walk away from you emotionally, even while he remains bound elsewhere. But hear me carefully, because this is where wisdom protects your heart. Love that cannot yet choose truth will always create confusion. And confusion is not my language. I am a God of clarity, peace, and alignment. When something is ready, it moves forward. When it is not healed, it circles. He is circling right now, not because you are unclear, but because he is. Do not measure your value by his readiness. Do not let his unfinished work become your burden. I am working on him, yes, but I am also working for you. I am guarding you in ways you cannot yet see. Sometimes my protection feels like delay. Sometimes my mercy feels like silence. But I promise you this, I am not allowing you to be lost in a story that will destroy your sense of self. There is a reason I am revealing this truth to you now. It is not to push you into fear, but to anchor you in reality. You cannot heal a man by loving him harder. You cannot free a soul that refuses to release its chains. Only he can decide to break them. Only he can choose integrity over comfort. Only he can step fully into truth. Until that moment comes, your role is not to suffer quietly hoping love will someday be enough. I see your loyalty. I see your tenderness. I see how deeply you love when you love. That is a gift, not a flaw. But gifts must be honored, not exploited. You deserve a love that meets you in the light, not one that keeps you waiting in the shadows. You deserve clarity, not constant interpretation. You deserve to be chosen openly, not emotionally while someone else is chosen in practice. Still, I want you to know this, his struggle is real. His feelings are real. His confusion is real. He is not pretending. He is not manipulating with intent. He is afraid. Afraid of loss. Afraid of confrontation. Afraid of becoming someone who breaks promises. Afraid of standing alone in the consequences of truth. Fear makes people delay decisions that would actually save them. That is why I am patient with him, but patience does not mean permission. I am teaching him lessons you cannot teach. I am pressing on the places that ache. I am allowing the discomfort to grow so that complacency can no longer survive. One way or another, this will resolve. No soul can live divided forever. What is hidden eventually demands a choice. What is postponed eventually collapses or transforms. I am a God of completion, not endless limbo. Your task right now is not to predict the ending. Your task is to stay rooted in who you are. Do not abandon your boundaries to prove devotion. Do not silence your needs to appear understanding. Do not spiritualize pain I never asked you to carry. Speak truth with grace. Love without losing yourself. Trust me enough to believe that if something is meant to move forward, it will do so with clarity, not constant confusion. And if the day comes when he releases what binds him, if he steps into honesty and chooses alignment, you will know, not because you are guessing, but because peace will replace anxiety. You will not have to decode messages or analyze pauses. Love that is ready does not hide. It stands. It acts. It chooses, but if he does not, hear this with my full authority and tenderness. Your life does not pause waiting for someone else's healing. I have not designed you to orbit someone else's indecision. I have paths for you that do not require you to compete with ghosts, memories, or unfinished stories. I have love that meets you fully, freely, and openly. Whether that love comes through him transformed, or through another path entirely, I will not let your faithfulness end in emptiness. You are seen. You are cherished. You are not foolish for loving. You are not weak for hoping. But you are also not required to endure endless uncertainty to prove your worth. Let me hold the outcome. Let me carry the timing. You stay honest. You stay whole. You stay aligned with the truth of who you are. I am with you in the waiting, and I will be with you in the resolution. No tear you've cried is wasted. No prayer you've whispered has gone unheard. Trust me when I say this chapter will not end in confusion. It will end in clarity, one way or another, and when it does, you will look back and realize I was guiding you every step, even when the path felt unclear. My child, let me continue speaking to your heart, because there is still more you need to hear, and I do not rush what matters. I know there are moments when you feel torn between hope and self-protection, when part of you wants to believe and another part of you wants to withdraw so you don't get hurt again. That inner conflict is exhausting, and I see how it weighs on you. You wonder if trusting me means holding on longer, or if trusting me means letting go. I want to bring light into that tension. Understand this. The grip she has on his soul is not just emotional attachment, it is unhealed identity. He learned who he was inside that bond. Even if it no longer nourishes him, it shaped him. Leaving it feels like losing a version of himself, and that frightens him more than he admits. When people fear losing who they think they are, they cling to what is familiar, even when it hurts. That is why his steps toward you feel hesitant. You are not threatening his love, you are threatening his old identity, and that is not your fault. You awaken growth in him. Growth always feels like death before it feels like life. That is why his soul trembles. He feels pulled toward truth when he is with you, but truth requires him to confront the parts of himself he has avoided. You see his potential, but he still sees his limitations. You see who he could become, but he is still negotiating with who he has been. That negotiation keeps him divided. I want you to stop asking yourself what you could do differently to make him choose. The answer is nothing. This is not about effort, patience, beauty, understanding, or sacrifice. You could give everything and still not free a soul that has not decided to be free. Choice is sacred. I will not violate his will, and I will not ask you to violate yourself waiting for his. There is something else I want you to know, something tender and important. Your presence in his life is not accidental, even if the ending is still unclear. You have been a mirror, a wake-up call, a holy disruption. Through you, he has tasted a love that is honest, a connection that is deep, a peace that is unfamiliar. Whether he chooses to fully step into that or retreats back into what is safe will define his path, but it will not diminish your purpose. Do not interpret silence as absence. Do not interpret delay as denial. But also do not interpret longing as commitment. These are different languages, and confusing them will wound you. Love that is not backed by action remains incomplete, no matter how intense it feels. I want you to love wisely, not desperately. I want your heart open, not bleeding. You may fear that if you set boundaries, you will lose him. Let me tell you the truth. Anything that disappears when you honor yourself was never meant to stay. Boundaries do not push away real love. They expose what is real and what is not. If he is meant to walk beside you, your strength will not scare him, it will steady him. If he is not ready, your boundaries will protect you. I am not asking you to harden your heart. I am asking you to guard it with wisdom. Continue to be kind, but do not abandon yourself. Continue to be loving, but do not accept confusion as intimacy. Continue to pray, but do not make waiting your identity. You are more than a pause in someone else's story. There will come a moment when clarity arrives. It may come through his courage, or it may come through your release. Either way, peace will follow. Peace is how you will recognize my hand. Anxiety is not a sign of destiny. Peace is. Even when truth is painful, it brings a strange calm. I will not leave you guessing forever. I am closer to you than you realize right now. When your heart feels heavy, that is me inviting you to lay it down. When you feel tired of wondering, that is me whispering that you do not have to figure everything out today. Trust unfolds in layers. Healing unfolds in seasons. Love unfolds in truth. My precious one, stay still with me a little longer. Let the noise quiet, let the questions soften, because what I am about to say is meant to settle something deep inside you. I know part of you is afraid that if you truly listen, you might have to change something or release something, or accept a truth you've been trying to delay. Do not be afraid. I never reveal truth to harm you. I reveal it to free you. You have been carrying not only your own emotions, but also his. You have felt his confusion as if it were your responsibility. You have sensed his fear and tried to compensate for it with understanding. You have held space for his hesitation, hoping that if you were patient enough, gentle enough, loving enough, the balance would tip. That is a heavy burden, and I did not ask you to carry it. Compassion is beautiful, but when compassion turns into self-erasure, it becomes a quiet form of suffering. I want you to notice something important. You feel drained not because you love deeply, but because you are loving in uncertainty. Love that flows in truth energizes the soul. Love that exists in limbo slowly exhausts it. That exhaustion you feel is not a lack of faith, it is your spirit asking for alignment. Your soul knows when something is incomplete, even if your heart still hopes. She still has a grip on him because he has not yet chosen to fully grieve what must end. People avoid endings because endings force honesty. Endings force accountability. Endings force us to admit that something we invested in did not become what we hoped. That kind of grief feels like failure to the unhealed heart. So instead of ending, he delays. Instead of choosing, he balances. Instead of stepping forward, he remains between worlds. That in-between place is where confusion lives, but you were not created to live there. You may wonder why I allow this tension to continue if I love you. Hear me carefully. I allow it not to punish you, but to reveal what cannot remain hidden forever. If I remove the discomfort too quickly, you might settle for less than you deserve and call it peace. But true peace does not require you to suppress your needs or silence your truth. True peace feels steady, not anxious. Clear, not constantly questioned. I am also teaching you something sacred through this season: discernment. Love without discernment binds. Love with discernment liberates. I am showing you the difference between emotional connection and emotional availability, between affection and commitment, between longing and readiness. These distinctions will protect you for the rest of your life. Do not envy the woman who holds his past. You see her as competition, but she is not. She is a chapter he has not closed, not a victory he has won. What looks like security from the outside is often fear holding hands with habit. What looks like being chosen may actually be being tolerated. Do not measure your worth against someone else's position in a story you do not fully see, and please hear this with gentleness. If you had entered his life earlier, before the lessons were learned, you would have been harmed. If he were to choose you now without healing, you would inherit wounds you did not create. I am protecting you even when it feels like delay. I am preparing alignment, not just union. You are allowed to desire love that is brave. You are allowed to want someone who chooses you without hesitation. You are allowed to step back when something asks you to stay small to keep it alive. That does not make you unloving. It makes you wise. There will be moments when loneliness whispers that waiting is better than being alone. Do not believe that lie. Loneliness passes, misalignment lingers. Temporary solitude is kinder than prolonged confusion. I am with you in both, but only one leads to wholeness. You are not losing time. You are gaining clarity. Every realization, every tear, every prayer is shaping you into someone who will no longer beg for certainty because certainty will recognize you. When the right love comes, whether through his transformation or another path entirely, it will not feel like a test of endurance. It will feel like rest. I know you are tired of being strong. I know you are tired of understanding. You do not always need to be the one who sees clearly while others hesitate. Let me hold you there. Let me be your clarity when your emotions blur. Let me be your anchor when hope and disappointment pull you in opposite directions. You will not be forgotten in this process. You will not be overlooked. I am attentive to every detail of your heart. And I promise you this with unwavering truth. No love meant for you will require you to abandon yourself to receive it. Stay open, but stay rooted. Stay loving, but stay honest. Stay hopeful, but stay whole. I am still guiding you. My beloved, let me bring this to rest now, not with uncertainty, but with truth that settles your soul. I know you have listened carefully, and I know something inside you has already shifted. That is how my voice works. It does not shout, it aligns. It does not rush, it anchors. What you are feeling right now is not loss. It is clarity beginning to take shape. I want you to release the silent responsibility you have been carrying for how this turns out. The outcome does not depend on your patience, your prayers, your endurance, or your ability to wait without breaking. You were never meant to earn love by suffering quietly. Love that is meant for you does not need to be proved through pain. It arrives through choice, through truth, through courage. He will reach a moment of decision. Every divided soul does. He will either face what binds him and step into integrity, or he will retreat deeper into what feels safe but keeps him small. That moment will not be caused by pressure from you. It will come when the discomfort of staying the same outweighs the fear of change. That is between him and me. Do not interfere with that sacred process by sacrificing yourself on its altar. If he chooses truth, you will not have to wonder. He will show up differently. His actions will align with his words. You will feel peace instead of tension, clarity instead of guessing, security instead of waiting. Love will feel steady, not fragile. You will not have to convince yourself anymore. Your heart will rest, and if he does not choose truth, listen to me closely now, you will still be okay. Not strong enough to survive, not brave enough to endure, but genuinely okay, whole, loved, and guided into something that fits you without contortion. I am not a God who leads my children into dead ends. I reroute. I restore. I redeem time. Do not fear letting go of what is unresolved. You are not abandoning love, you are honoring it. Sometimes the most loving act is refusing to participate in what is incomplete. You can bless him without binding yourself to his delay. You can care without carrying. You can love without waiting in pain. I am proud of your heart. I am proud of the way you have loved with sincerity and depth. Do not let this season teach you to close your heart. Let it teach you discernment, boundaries, and trust in my timing. Soft hearts with strong boundaries are powerful. That is who you are becoming. From this moment on, choose alignment over anxiety. Choose truth over tension. Choose peace over potential. Potential is only beautiful when it becomes reality. I have reality prepared for you, not someday, not hypothetically, but in ways that will meet you fully when the time is right. Rest now. You have done enough. You are enough. And you are deeply loved by me.